Hey there, welcome to another episode of the RocketMSP Podcast. I'm joined again by Andrew Crespo Roman from HoneyCRM. Welcome, Andrew.
Hey, what's up, Steve? Thanks for having me back.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited because I get to play with HoneyCRM more. Speaking of which, I just wanted to show you something here and do a little bragging. So if I look at my HoneyCRM, first of all, you'll see I even started branding it. But if I look here, I've already gotten 7 leads, which
This
I know
month.
doesn't sound great. But if we look at July, we'll see that July I had 52. Did you know that I haven't actually sent anything yet in August? All of these leads are either just people going to my website and filling out that form on the homepage, or people filling out the form from the email I sent last month.
It's great, man. It means you got a good list.
I'd like to think so. So huge thanks to you guys for helping me get that form set up on the last video, because that I think was a huge help, not just for me to see some things in here, but it was actually a huge help for me because I learned that my website, the Kajabi platform, doesn't like certain people's email addresses. So it was rejecting them registering for the event, even though they were actually giving me a good email address. And I know because in HoneyCRM, I saw, some people try signing up 20 times. Like, it was crazy. Just the number of times people tried signing up and filling out that form and being told that there's a problem with their email.
Well, that's good that Honey did that. I'm really happy that I was able to, help you capture those. It's also good that people want to see your stuff so bad that they decided to try 20 times. They were that determined.
It's a little crazy, but
Yeah.
I agree. It's super awesome. So enough with this marketing dashboard here. I want to kind of dig in for just a quick minute. I want to look at, I think I want to go to quick reports because I want to look and see how my email actually did, like details.
Yeah. There's 2 ways to do that.
Okay.
You only sent out 1 email. So in this way, I would recommend you just go to email marketing and then campaigns. And then under sent, you'll see the one that you sent out. Yeah, you can see that one right there too. That's actually another way to just look at it. If you click on the actual name of it itself, it'll take you to the analytics for it. You see right here, you got a lot of people that clicked. You got some really good open rate, really good click-through rate. And then obviously you got a lot of form submissions too. So to look at like a little bit deeper to the details of who actually it was that did this, you go into recipients. And then you can see from here. And what's cool about this table is that, so you can see all the opens and stuff. But what's cool about it is you can filter out, like, so say that you want to like just reach out to some people that maybe they didn't like click on something, but they like opened an email a certain amount of times, like those people that opened it 4 times, they were obviously interested to a certain extent, but it just may have been that they didn't just take the initiative to click on something. Maybe they saved your email, but didn't get to that point. But what you could do is you could, on the checkboxes to the left, is once you see you have everything already filtered out, you could click the whole page or just select a few of them. And then you would click like email, or you could actually move them to a list or change their statuses, for example. But my favorite part is that you can click email, which is that top left button right next to the checkbox.
Ooh.
Yeah. And then you can just follow up with these people just kind of based off of specific criteria,
So I just select. So what's really cool is I see that select all. So I could come in here and I could go to opens and I could make it greater than 0 because that means they opened it. And then I'll add a filter, clicks less than 1. In fact, I'll even make this greater than 2. So now that should really narrow that down. Now I've got 23 people here that opened my email and didn't go to the dang event. Mm-hmm. What were these people thinking?
I don't know, man. You got to reach out to them and let them know.
Clearly.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. You do that. You still have like all the ones selected that you had before. So in this case, you would just clear your selection and then select all the ones that you have here, because it's still remember that you selected some of those other ones.
That's good to know, because I probably would have just been okay to do this.
There you go.
That's very good to know.
email.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you wanted to follow up in this case, right? Email, and then you would just, and just so you know, it says individual emails, right? So this is a common question. Like, it's just only going to send to one person at a time, right? And yes, it's right. It's only going to send to one person at a time.
So I'm not gonna send an email with everyone in the two, like that thing that you always tell the woman at the Chamber of Commerce not to do.
Yeah, exactly. And people get worried about that all the time. So I just wanted to make sure to answer that question right away. It comes up a lot.
That's good. I like that. And then if you look, I feel like the vendors did a lot better job opening the email than the prospects did, or the MSPs, I should say. And then I actually did an A/B test, and I think all I changed was the subject.
You can do it off of subject, or you can do it off of content, right? So in this case, it looks like your version B definitely took the cake.
So we can click this and we can see my subject. RocketMSP hosting a Kaseya breach panel discussion. And then version A, upcoming security podcast episode. So I was interested to see if people wanted to learn more specifically about the Kaseya breach, or if they just were interested about security in general.
Yeah.
And I learned.
It looks like one by this, depending on the size of your list, right? It can depend, but like in this case, it was pretty close, honestly. Like both of your subject lines did pretty good. And that's also because you have a good list, but this is definitely good to test out. With content, you usually don't have to do that unless like you're having like really bad click-throughs, you know? And like, that's like, you're kind of trying to test some different strategies there. But subject lines usually is a really easy thing to test, and it can increase your open rate. Also your click-through rate. If people open it, of course, your click-through rate and then, can go up a lot too. It's definitely something to utilize as often as you can.
Well, good. I will be playing with that A/B testing much more often in the future. So what I want to talk about today, though, I want to dig into journeys. So I'm going to click what I just assume is this generic Reddit logo right here. And that's automation. Have they sued you yet?
That's so funny. I think you're the first person who's ever said that, but I see what you're saying. It's actually like one of our designers came up with it's like a bee, that's supposed to be a bee, by the way. That's the head of the bee that he came up with. And yeah, the whole character is like this really cool looking, like superhero bee, but yeah, that's the head of it. And you're saying with the
I now understand, at least. That makes sense now.
I'm looking right now at the Reddit thing, and yeah, the difference is that the Reddit guy's got this little antenna in the middle. He doesn't have those little like spikies, but yeah,
for some reason in my mind, the Reddit dude has two antennas when I look at this.
Yeah. I had to confirm real quick because I was like, is that the same exact thing? But it's not.
It's like how everyone thinks the Monopoly guy has a monocle, and that it was the Bernstein Bears.
He doesn't have a monocle?
Are you being serious?
Yeah, that thing, right?
Yeah.
He does not have that.
You thought he did?
I mean, yeah. I picture him with one of those. Yeah. He doesn't?
Yeah, do I. But apparently we're now variants in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because that is not how the Monopoly man ever looked. There's this whole thing about how things have changed because, we remember them differently, but everyone remembers this one thing. So yeah, supposedly
a whole thread about that.
Yeah. So supposedly there's, there's a whole bunch of theories. I'm sure somebody thinks it's time travel. Somebody thinks we're on an alternate timeline, or, it's, crazy people in tinfoil hats, aliens, probably. All right. So I started making this here, and I just kind of popped in a name. This is not what this journey is going to be called or whatever once it's done. I didn't put a list in here because I was afraid of making it active and actually starting to send out emails. So I just left that blank for now. I did put in a category, and then I guess I should just click on this so I can start looking at it. So obviously I didn't send anything out yet. So that's why all of this is 0.
So just to ease your mind, if you pick a list, it won't start sending anything out. Whenever you click on the designer, which I'm sure the next place we're going anyways, the button on the very top where it says enable, just grayed out right now because you still got to complete some stuff. That's what will set it live. And then it'll even ask you an extra step because with the list that you have, you may want everyone on that list to start going through that journey already, or you may also want only people that are just going to be new to that list to start getting this journey. So it gives you that option. And then after you choose that in the time that it goes out, then, or that it starts, then that's whenever it's going to, go to everybody.
Well, that makes me feel significantly better, but I still haven't decided if this is going out to a new list either. So I'll probably make a new list of vendors that have already been guests. So that way I can more or less, I started writing this. I'm just doing I'm going to call them generic. They're text only emails, right? So, hey, hope you're doing well. It's been a while. Do you have anything new or exciting? Let's catch up, and a link. And that takes them to my Calendly, and then they can book time. And then I was smart and I put a delay. And then after the delay, I check, was it opened and did they click any link? So I guess what I'm trying to do is I want to figure out, okay, did they open the email or not? If they didn't open the email, then I need to send one email, right? If they did open the email and they didn't click, I may want to send a different email. And then if they did open it and did click, now I need to figure out if there's a way to do some voodoo magic in the background with maybe Zapier and Calendly working together to put an update in HoneyCRM. That way I could maybe then add another condition where this one would be a subscriber detail, and I'm looking at, hopefully I can look at more fields than these three. I just need to create more fields.
No, that's the fields, yeah.
Well, that ruins everything, Andrew.
Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, I guess what I'm trying to do is if somebody booked time with me on Calendly, I don't want to keep emailing them right now. I want them to finish their journey.
Okay. So there's not integration for Calendly or anything, or Zapier as we spoke of before, but what you can do is you can do it to where if they had a specific link click, which would be your Calendly link, and if they clicked on that, then, you may be able to then assume that they're with to schedule something. Otherwise, I'm sure that there's going to be some clicks where people go and they didn't actually go through with scheduling it. But that would be your best bet to accomplish what you're trying to do now, right? Because if they clicked on it, then most likely they're trying to go schedule it, right? But yeah, it could happen to where they click on it and then just end up not actually going in and following through with the scheduling, right? So I want to make sure, because you had a lot of different steps you want to do. So on the first one, if they open and clicked any link, you wanted something to happen, right? So in this case, you could kind of just need to put if they had any link clicked, then you can just put that one, because then it'll just really what you're trying to do is only if they click the link, because if they opened it, you're not going to do anything in this case. Is what I'm getting from it. If they only opened it.
So if they opened the email, but they didn't click the link, I want to send them a follow-up email, because I know for certain that they supposedly opened the email and they read the email, but they didn't click.
Got it. Okay.
But I also want to, and I want to send an email to somebody that didn't open the email, didn't read, didn't click, didn't do jack. They just ignored me like an a-hole. I need to send them something too, Andrew.
Well, then there's a way to do that. So there's a way to on the second condition where you have on the no side, which means that they didn't open or they didn't click on anything. So you can go down and you can check again, they didn't meet the two criteria in this case. So actually below your delay where it says 17 days, below that, go to your condition and you can click on, just click on edit. And then you can actually backtrack to the very first one. You can have it check the first email again. So you can say, was email number 1 open? And if it was opened, then, you could have a series of things happen. And if they didn't open your email even, then you could have another series of things happen, right? So you could do that in this case to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. So you can do that for this one and the other email. So you can have it be for both.
But wouldn't I want to put that here? So I guess what I'm trying to say is, all right, was it opened and clicked? Yes. Was it opened and clicked? No. But then was it at least opened? Yes. So
you don't want that email to go to them if it wasn't. Okay. Yeah, for sure. That makes sense. So you wouldn't want this email to go to anybody if they did not meet that criteria. So then, yes, you're right. It would be that condition goes there, and then it would check that condition and was it opened? And in this case, yes. Then they would get this email. This is the correct email that they would get if they did open it, right? This is what you want there. Okay. So then, yeah, on the other side, of course, then you'd put like if it was not open, then you would kind of keep nagging them, and being like, hey, why didn't you open my email? And
that is literally what I'm going to do. I'm going to add an email, and I'm going to edit this, call it what the heck. Are you avoiding me? And then it'll be from Steve Taylor.
Not a good sales tactic, by the way.
What'd you say?
Not a good sales tactic, by the way.
Oh, I don't care.
I know you wouldn't actually use that anyway. But
you don't know me. What if I will?
I thought I did. You never know somebody. Like you think you do right, but your computer spam filter thing. I'm not good. This is what I call the crazy girlfriend approach.
That's my approach when I'm just writing out something ridiculous to be on one of our recordings.
And then put a broken heart.
There we go. So we'll save that, and then that's what they'll get when it's a no. This is what they get when they at least open the email. So basically, I could just keep going through and make this journey, 180 days long for the people that continually don't do the thing that I want them to do. And then as soon as they do open and click the link, I could even get rid of this condition here. And then, yes, I don't have to put anything because it's just done now, right?
Yeah, they open and click the link, and that was the end goal, like just for them to open and then click that link and schedule something. Then yeah, absolutely. But in this case, like you had said if they like clicked on your Calendly link or something, right? Then you wanted them to something to happen, like maybe it might be like remove them from a list, and I don't know what exactly your goal was at that point.
Well, so that's the only link I'm putting in all of the emails is my Calendly link, because my goal is to get them to schedule time. I want them to book a meeting with me so we can catch up, 15, 30 minutes. Let's catch up and see if you've got anything worth sharing with the RocketMSP followers and community. And I guess that is where I want the journey to actually end. Mm-hmm. And I worry that if it gets here and it stops just because they clicked the link, how do I know they've booked?
So you can have a few things happen here. You can have, if they click the link, then you can have them be assigned to you. So that way, like you're responsible for this lead now. So you could do a contact update, for example. And you can have, there's a few things you could do here. You could even put them into another list, or you could say assign a sales rep. So that would be, you would have to, I guess, also click on the checkbox in your settings that would make you a sales rep, because right now you're probably just an admin. You could be both at the same time though. So, you could be also considered a sales rep as someone that's responsible for leads, but that's something you can do later. Something else you might do here is also change your status, because you could automatically have it change your status. And that way, you can go in and check after the time has gone by where this journey would have taken its course. You go in and check and see who is now under this status, which means that they booked a meeting or that they at least clicked on that link. And then obviously at that point, it would be a little bit more optimized if we were able to have the ability to see to check the condition. Did they actually go and put it on your calendar? Right. But in this case, we're just going to go based off of if they went and clicked on your calendar link, which is the best route to go right now, it sounds like, for your case. Did they book?
So I just want to share this with you. I created Did They Book? And then my only option was cancel or to click the X. And I feel like both of those are like a negative, let's not do this after all kind of connotation. So I would just have like an okay or close instead of cancel, because cancel tells me, nope, just kidding. I didn't want to do that.
No, that's good feedback for sure.
And I don't see that status that I created.
Yeah, you'd have to refresh it. So now whenever you go in there, it'll definitely have it.
All right, so if I change the status to Did They Book, then here's where my brain goes like, I sometimes wonder if I'm putting the cart before the horse, or if I'm letting the tail wag the dog, or whatever analogy you want to use, right? So when I get to here, okay, so I changed the status. Is there a way where when I log into Honey, I'm here, I'm at my dashboard, now I want to see a little widget that shows me status. People, did they book?
So not on the dashboard, but you can go to your leads where it says all leads. And then at this point, you would just filter out to see that status. That's the best way I can recommend for you to do that.
Okay. Okay, that works. So when I look through this and I look at the statuses, I actually really like that we can have statuses attached to people, because, you know, I got this guy here. He's not an existing client, but maybe he's like a former client or a past client. So maybe I'll make a former client, and gray seems good. Gray seems like the color for sadness.
Yeah, it's good. Or red. I always knew red. Like if it's just like, ooh, that's not good. You know?
So for me, I look at red as stop. You need to do something. Like that's how I use red. So like not a fit. That's not red to me. It's
all about perspective.
That's this weird color of blue.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then I guess I'll hit cancel, because that's how I save my changes and close that window. So now this guy, I could actually assign them as.
Yeah. So I know you're about to say, hey, I don't see the status, but typically you would want to go ahead and put all your statuses that you're going to have, right? Like, before you actually start doing everything, right?
I know. I don't actually have a plan for this, Andrew. I just kind of wing it as I go through my CRM. Yeah, so I could assign that guy. That's the best way to do things, I'm told. This guy, maybe he is assigned to the Did They Book one. And so if I come in here and I filter my status, which is not the same as state, we want to make sure that it is Did They Book. And now I see this guy, this one dude, did they book? And if I look at my Calendly, I can see that they did not, in fact, book time with me. And I know this because I never sent him these emails and he never clicked on the link.
So another cool thing in here that you could see, so like you wouldn't necessarily have to go to your Calendly to see if they booked, if you have an integration with your email, like Office or G Suite or whatever. I think you use G Suite, right? So if you have that journaling rule, then you could just go inside of Paul's profile. So you can click on his name and you would be able to see right here, like the meeting that was booked, because it would be able to pull that from your calendar if you have that. It's called journaling, right? Which
we agreed that I couldn't do unless I had G Suite Enterprise.
Right. So you're going to look into that and see if maybe there was a way, but yeah, it looks like it's still that way, right? To where you got to have Enterprise to do that. And that's,
I'm still going to do the crazy thing and try it. I mean, it's the worst that happens. I waste my time.
That's it.
I'm really good at that, so why not? All right, so I like that. And I gotta say, man, every time I come in here, I just really enjoy looking at your system because it's really pretty. I know it sounds like I'm trying to kiss your ass, but it really is just delightful to be in this system because it's snappy and it's pretty to look at.
We put a lot of time into the UX and UI, so thank you. Yeah, we definitely meant for it to be easy on the eyes and just easy to navigate, right? I'll pass that down to the developers. They love hearing about that.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, pass that down to everyone.
I sure will.
All right. So when I think about automation, I know that you've got journeys and you've got marketing plans. Are marketing plans different than journeys?
Yeah, marketing plans. So go to include it with subscription real quick, if you would, please. And then you'll see different plans there. And of course, we talked about before, these for your purposes are not really geared for you, but it would be geared for an MSP. So if you were to take one of these marketing plans, you just go to options, you can see that there's 4 emails within this. So you just go to create marketing plan.
Oh, I thought I'd just look at the overview.
Yeah, this will just kind of let you know what is in it. So like you don't just start creating it without knowing, but in this case, just for example's sake, right, we're just going to pop one in there and not actually send it out to anybody. And then you would just put in, basic information, select your list.
I love having Apple because I can do things like this and make little shortcuts.
Oh, that's cool, man. I've been meaning to mess with that little automation widget that it has on my Mac. See how I can make life easier. Excuse me.
Automation. So, do you mean the Automator program?
Yeah, that.
I have not done that because it seems difficult. But with macOS Monterey that's coming out soonish, they're adding the Shortcuts app.
Yeah, I messed with it a little bit, and it was cool because you could just you could literally just make it to work, kind of like you just did. You just put in some commands, and then it'll automatically put in, like in this case, what I was doing is putting in like the whole phrase, because usually I was like saying the same thing for people to book like a meeting or something, instead of having to type that out every time. Just click a couple buttons and then it types out the whole phrase for me. So that's cool. And supposedly there's a lot of other things you could do. But yeah, so what you would do here is you would just pick a date that you wanted to start.
I did.
And right there. Yeah, exactly. So you would pick the date, and then it would then, as you see, trickle down and put in this case, they're all set a week apart. So it would set your campaigns up to be a week apart. And depending on how long the marketing plan is, like right now, most of them are like 4 emails, but you could also always create your own marketing plans so that like if you ever kind of do some repetitive type marketing, or like you're constantly adding a list and you want to keep putting people through that, then you could just create a marketing plan that's as long as you want it to be. And then this way you could even have everything already attached to it if you want it to be, whenever you create a plan. So that way you're just going and clicking on your calendar, selecting the list, and then the rest is done, right? Mm-hmm. So the biggest difference here with journeys is that...
Can I say it?
What's that?
So from what I see, the reason you would use a marketing plan is if you want this to be a drip campaign where it doesn't need conditional if then or any of that stuff. Whereas a journey, you're allowed to do conditional stuff. And, if they did something but didn't do another thing, it sends them different emails based on their actions.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. You took the words right out of my mouth.
So I can now completely understand why you would want one instead of the other. Right. I still want a journey, but I could see myself doing a marketing plan. Now, I got to share with you, I really liked that calendar. Is there like a way to get to that calendar looking view without going into marketing plans?
Yeah, there is. So you could go to your marketing section, which is that top left, like bullhorn looking. Yep, right there. And then calendar, and then that's where you would look at everything. So
I have hopes and dreams for this calendar right now as I look at this, because I love that you've got, a cute little icon here, and you can show me that this is an email that's going to go out on the 19th, right?
Right.
Man, how cool would it be if eventually HoneyCRM was able to help me with automating my social media posts And then I saw a little like Facebook icon and LinkedIn icon for all the posts with maybe the first couple of words of the post or the title of the whatever, right? Similar to how this shows the CTA landing, plain text, etc. That way, this could be like my true marketing plan calendar. Like I wouldn't even care if this showed me my Google calendar. In fact, I'd probably prefer if it didn't, if I had like a marketing calendar where I could see all of my marketing in one place.
So that is the plan, actually. That's the plan for Honey, is just to be able to manage all your marketing, even down like social media, down to like PPC and even SMS. So that's part of it. That's the grand vision. And I mean, eventually we want to be able to have you work out of Honey to do everything, even anything that your PSA tool does, right? But we're working on the whole thing is that we didn't see like all these PSAs and, MSP tools that are out there. We didn't see that there was really one that focused on making a marketing and a salesperson efficient. So we wanted to set out to make something for that. And then the rest is, as far as like having a PSA tool, they're already out there. So, we're able to just then become a competitor with something that they don't already have. That's really the vision, to be able to have the marketing side be strong and then make the other side, which is a PSA, which is something that already exists, right? So yeah, we just want to be able to differentiate it. And first we're tackling this portion of it, as you can see.
Now I'm going to beat you up a little bit again, Andrew.
Go ahead.
You're creating a competitor for something that you said doesn't exist. But I think it does. It just doesn't exist in such a way that it's geared to MSPs. Because
that's what I mean for MSPs.
HubSpot, there's Keep, which used to be Infusionsoft. There are platforms out there that do exactly what I'm talking about, but they don't integrate with Autotask, ConnectWise, etc. Right? So you definitely have an edge there. But
right. And that's what I mean, Steve. I don't mean that we're creating something for like everyone that's not created before, because of course there's HubSpot, there's Keep. I mean, there's other marketing platforms like MailChimp, but we're creating something for our industry that we have not seen created to this extent. That's
and that's not the part where I'm beating you up. So I agree with you 100% there. The part where I still am going to beat you up is you're pricing yourself out of the market of probably 65% of MSPs.
You're saying the pricing's too high?
I'm saying that the pricing for everything is fair, but I still think that there should be something that goes in between free and the middle plan, right? Or a way for an MSP to say, hey, you know what? I just need the email marketing and I don't want to use MailChimp. But I have more than 50 or however many contacts, let them pay for contacts instead of getting unlimited. So that way they can a la carte things together. So that way you're not pricing yourselves out and you still have that 65% of the market share available to you. Dude, after my last month of playing with your software, I 100% see the value in what you are charging, even for the top of the line. And what is it? It's what, $500 a month, if I'm correct?
Yeah, $499, right? $400.
Yeah. So $499, like for something that you're saying is eventually going to be like the end all be all marketing platform for the MSPs, we're probably months or maybe years away from some of this stuff coming to fruition, but that's an awesome price. And it's competitive with something like HubSpot. Incredibly competitive, especially when you look at to get anything of value out of HubSpot, you're spending $1,600 a month. So I don't see any issue with that price. Oh, and for $1,600, they still limit the number of contacts you can have in your database. So I don't see any problem with what you're charging for the whole kit and caboodle. It's that MSP that
price? Is that what you're really getting at?
Yeah, I'm looking down at the bottom. And I'm looking at this as I don't care about the free one. That one's the get your, dip your toes in the water and see if you even want to jump in this pool, right? The first paid plan, is even a difficult number to swallow for basically any small MSP. And it's simply because if you look at the small MSPs, Andrew, they don't have budgets. So they don't sit down and say, all right, I've got a $3,600 marketing budget this year and et cetera, right? They almost operate like paycheck to paycheck when they're that small. And saying like I need to spend, a couple $100 on my paycheck, it becomes difficult. And let's be honest, that is who Rocket MSP almost gears its content to. Like I have the guys who can spend $500 a month all day long, but my content is geared to the little guy. And this tool is so amazing. I just want to make sure that the little guy can get in and use it and not be limited to like 50 contacts. Because that's where
this is good. This is great feedback, by the way. And I love all the feedback. I don't feel beat up at all. This is great. I take in the constructive, criticism well. And, I want to talk about this more. So there's three price points. There's $99, right? So it's not a couple hundred, it's $99.
I never remember.
And then it's $249 and then it's $499. So the $99 one is where you can go in and you get a starter package for email marketing, which gives you more than obviously the free one has. It gives you at least 100 more email templates. Yep, there you go. And then it says, as you see right there, it says the starter pack. And then you're able to now have unlimited contacts, and then you're able to, get more users if you would like. So this is where I want to talk about, because I would love to hear your suggestions as to what you think would be the fair point here. I think this is fair because of all the intellectual property that you're getting. And, we talked about in the past where like maybe we're not doing a great job of displaying that. And by the way, you might notice here that we actually changed some things up here to let you know what you're getting, because marketing content right there used to say limited, right? We took your feedback actually, and we changed that. So now it says white papers and ebooks. So that's much more clear now what you're getting. And then on the other side, you see what does marketing or marketing collateral mean? You had said like, what does that really mean? And that's what that means right there. You've seen what you're getting there. So the intellectual property, as I think will become a huge part of the value, because MSPs typically don't have or the time or the skill set to write content, right? Their strengths are in being technical people and not in writing content and, creating or doing any type of graphic type designing. So that's where that comes in. But again, how we justify it. But I would love to hear your feedback as to what you think would be more fair or enticing, to them. Would it be like being able to pick like, I want the marketing and I want the automation. So let me pick those two and then put them into one package together. Or what do you think?
All right. So, Mr. Monopoly Man's monocle. Did warm up exist a couple months ago?
Yeah, it did.
I don't remember. And I think I probably beat you up because like I see all these features and I'm like, I want everything, man. Like, why you got to charge me $500 for it?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Of course,
so
everything.
So
I want a Ferrari, but
Yeah, okay. That's fair. So if I look here at warm up, I'm able to send out a single email campaign. Am I able to do a marketing plan?
No, you don't get the automation along with it.
Okay. Why wouldn't we give them automation without the ability to get the IP with it?
That was actually a conversation we had. It was a long conversation. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and the reason why is because the automation piece, and the way that we see it is that if you're going in at the 99 point range, it's probably because you're not really at that point of needing something as robust as automation. And the thing is too, from feedback that we got from people, is that the automation usually intimidates them and they don't want to start there because they're just like, this is a lot. I just want to get started with some basic email campaigns, maybe have them go out every couple of weeks, have a way to easily follow up with them and have my template somewhere. That's the feedback that we got, right? But that's the big thing that we do is we're always gathering feedback. So that's why I want to have this conversation in depth with you, because you get a lot of feedback too. And I think you even talked to people about these price points that we had and how we offer them. And so, let's nitpick it apart. I'm all for it.
So here's what I'm thinking. 99, don't give us any intellectual property, no marketing collateral, plus give us the ability to do marketing plans and journeys all the way down through the paid plans. Because if you think about it, your content is the reason people are going to spend this money. Okay? It's not the fact that we can do automation, it's the content that they're spending the money on. So if you give us the ability to, again, dip our toe in and see if this is a pool we want to dive into, give us the ability to create a journey or to create a marketing plan using our own content. And then if we're like, and then if we come back and say, Andrew, man, I love this, but man, this is so hard to come up with content. Well, hey, Steve, for $250 or $500 a month, whichever plan you want to go with, we've got a boatload of content already made for you. All you got to do is figure out which one you want to send, tweak it a little bit so it looks more like your brand, and then it's done.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good thought and good feedback. Let me ask you this. What would you think about, and just completely speaking hypothetically here, because I wish I was the one that had the power to change all these things, but I'm not. But I can definitely pass this down, and we take feedback that we get very seriously, obviously. So what if there was another option to where you could come in and you could pick the tools that you want, and kind of like you said, right? So you could pick, say, I want to pick to get email campaigns. I want to pick to get white papers. I want to now get the ebooks. I want the collateral builder. I want the ability to have the automation or the marketing plans. And basically, let's say you have like a page of like 10 or 12 different like major features that you have that obviously have smaller features within them that you could just pick and put together and just customize what you're looking for mostly. Would that be more like attractive than what we have now to you? Or would it just be more like you're able to start with all the tools, but the intellectual property is what makes you be higher priced down the road? What is your thoughts on
that? I will say that picking and choosing is nice for the people that are super cost conscious, but it also makes it, what's the word I'm looking for? It also makes it very different, the tool set that each of your customers could have. And obviously, the premium support is only there with the top tier. Now, premium support, I suspect that means like, they get a phone number and maybe an account manager or something like that, where the support is just handled more efficiently and just feels like a better, faster experience.
Well, so if you look at it there, it tells you like, we help you with your first year of marketing. And that's really what the premium support is to help you put together a year worth of marketing. As far as support with the tool, you're going to get the same level of support that you would, because it's not fair for somebody at $99 to be like, to just get crap support where you get like an email to reach out to, and then you get back to, that we get back to you in like a day or two. That's not fair, right? So what it means is just basically that we support you in putting together your first year's worth of marketing. We'll even we give you like a questionnaire, you fill out your questionnaire, and we'll put in all your branding information. We'll like do a lot of the settings for you on the back end. And then we will, based off of your questionnaire, we will put together 52 weeks worth of emails with all the assets attached to them, like the landing pages and the videos and all those things. And then you're just able to take those and either schedule them or kind of tweak them the way you want them. But it just gives you a more like full, like instead of having all the pieces kind of laid out and then you having to put them together, we help you put them together based off of what your goals are, what you're looking to market,
Okay. That makes me feel tremendously better when it comes to premium support. I would probably call that something different. I might call that like marketing concierge, or I don't know, but like literally anything other than support, because I think tech support when I read premium support.
Especially in our space. Yeah. I can see how that can get kind of confusing with that terminology for sure.
And you even have it spelled out below that and I missed it.
Yeah, just because of that word support. Yeah, that whole thing we were going back to, like, was it really there or not? Is he wearing the monocle?
Yeah. Right. When I look at some of these other, so like SMS calling, those, we don't need in a lower system, but maybe make those like add-on features. That way we could be on the warm up and then just kind of, oh, well, I want the SMS and calling, but I still don't need the intellectual property. You know what I mean? Proposal builder or landing page builder, when those come out, or the collateral builder, those are really interesting tools. Well, collateral builder is a really interesting tool. It's like InDesign on the web on steroids. It's awesome. That is probably something I wouldn't include in the warm-up, just because that is now getting into something that's going to take a lot of time and effort. And somebody that's on a warm-up plan probably doesn't have that time and effort to put into their marketing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But the ability to do the automation stuff, I feel like that should be there. And honestly, it, like, when I look at this list, it's 2 checkboxes: journeys and marketing plans. All the other checkboxes can still be X's. And I don't even know if those need to be in the free. Maybe because free is basically warm up, but really limited, you know, to 25 contacts. I was wrong. I said 50 or whatever.
And then
so
just not as much intellectual property. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like, the fact that you're giving them a starter pack of IP at 99 is, I'd be okay to not get any of that. Or literally, I don't know, what does the starter pack look like? Like, is it really like one campaign and that's it? Or no, because you don't have campaigns.
You get like, well, yeah, we get more emails in that case, right? Which means you get about, I think, around 50 more like plain text emails, which are follow-up emails. And then you get about 50 to, it's around 50, I think, also graphical email campaigns. We're constantly adding more content, so it's hard to put an exact number on it. But,
but it's not like we get like a starter pack of like 5 or 10.
Right,
we're talking dozens.
Yes.
So we're talking dozens of emails available in the starter pack. The limited could be a dozen or fewer.
Yeah, the limited comes with like, I think 60. So yeah, you end up getting going from 60
on the free
to
plan?
Like, yeah, it comes with a lot. We try to like, even because we find some people that live, like, there's people that use the free plan that have been using it for like 6 months or a year because it does enough for them. Like, they have their 25 contacts that they manage, and believe it or not, sometimes that's enough for them. Sounds crazy, but you know, and that's what you need. That's what you need, right? So we give them the tools that they need to even be able to use it until they grow into something more, you know?
So that is amazing. I personally would not give them that many email templates on a free plan. So if they're getting 60 unlimited, then they're getting more than that on the starter pack on the warm-up, right?
Right. Yeah, a lot more than that. At least 3 times more than that, yeah.
So they're getting almost 200 email templates on the starter.
Right.
And then contender, are we talking like 400 or 500 emails at that point?
Yeah, you're getting up to about a little over 400 emails at that point. And then, of course, then you give them content like, so if you go there, you get to...
Well, but so obviously it comes with the white papers and ebooks, but that's down here. So I'm just talking about the email campaign templates.
Right. So yeah, if you go there, so let's go back to there. So if you go back real quick, yep, right there, and then go to, I'm sorry, you're at the right place. It's really small right now. It's hard to see. Graphical templates.
Here, I'll just make this easier.
Yeah, there you go. Graphical templates, and then included with subscription. So this would show you, and you have about, at the moment, I think about 180 here, I believe, maybe a little bit more than that at this point. Yeah, 181. And then if you go to then non-graphical, then you have bunch here too. So you get a little over 400. This thing you have 139. So
that's like having 300.
Oh shit, yeah, 300. My bad. I was off on the math. So yeah, you get about 300, and then yeah, a little over that, like 320. Yeah.
So full disclosure, I have a pro plan that I'm testing out. So I have the full library. So basically what I'm hearing is the people that sign up for the warm-up for $99, they're getting a good chunk of this library.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And then the people that are using it for free still have a sizable chunk of this library.
Yeah, they have a pretty good chunk. They get like the more basic ones, I would call them, which are like
Mhm.
the ones that just don't have like, they typically don't have like graphics, like real photos with them. They just have like illustrative like type, which are considered the more basic ones. But
I
yeah,
like the
they
illustrated
still get
ones
a good chunk.
better. I'm
Yeah, it
weird.
depends on what you like, right? But those are really considered like the more premium ones because they're just, yeah, they just look cleaner. I guess it's just up to opinion though, right? Just all about
Mhm.
perspective at that point. But yeah, that's what you get with that. You pretty much just double with as far as your email campaigns goes. You about double what you would get from the warm up, and then yeah, like I said, right now we're just talking about the email campaigns, but then of course you get intellectual property that you can attach to that because a lot of times what their problem is that they have the email campaigns, but they're like, I don't have any content to actually like make as a call to action, right? Like I don't have blogs or I don't have white papers, ebooks, things like that. So at that point,
Right.
that's like, where that helps out.
So the people that are using this thing for free 99, they're gonna hate me for what I have to say. The people that would consider Honey but think that they don't get enough for 99 are gonna love me for what I have to say. Probably. Give these guys, I mean, I don't even think they need a starter pack worthy. Like, give these guys limited. Give these guys Jack. Or make limited be like, here's a dozen emails to get you started. Total between graphical and non-graphical. Like, that's starter to me. That's limited. These guys here, maybe give them a few dozen, not like hundreds. These guys are the ones that get that huge amount of intellectual property.
The starter pack.
The contender is where they start getting all that intellectual property. They still get the full library, but like starter pack, maybe this only needs to have like 50, not 200, or
Yeah,
however many you say it is.
That's up to debate. I mean, I guess we try to be pretty generous on that because like I said, we typically see that be a huge struggle for people is just being able to come up with. I think whenever it comes to designing it, it makes it pretty easy in Honey, but the copy is, I think, where we see people struggle a lot. So it gives you a lot of like different like versions of copy and
that's
how to work things.
And that's why I say, like, if you give them 60, like, that's still a lot of emails. That's still technically, if we send out every one that you give us, over a year's worth of content. So that's like do it yourself, a whole year of content with unlimited contacts. And here's where I would say, give us the marketing plans and the journeys. Make the starter pack more limited. Make this super limited. And then the people that want to spend, the big bucks, they're the people that get all the IP. And then probably the big difference between these two, I suspect, would just be the number of users and then maybe some of these other things that are coming soon kind of stuff. Like SMS and calling, I think should be just an add-on for any one of these.
Mm.
And then like even the other thing that I would say is a throwing it out there kind of thing. Let people start on free. Still give them the marketing plans and journeys, but no content. And then let them pay to add contacts. Oh, you want 100 contacts? Like, here's where it goes back to the paying for contacts thing, because then you have like a free / a la carte kind of version. And then let them pay to get the add-ons, the SMS, the calling, the proposal builder, the landing page builder, collateral builder.
Yeah, it's good feedback, man. Like I said, I'll pass that down, and we take all the feedback into consideration that we get. I would also love to see once this actually goes live, the type of comments you get around this, because this sounds like a big portion of the this at this point has been a big portion of the conversation we've had. So anybody that watches this, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what people have to say about this as well. And we take every bit of it into consideration. We're a startup, and it's not like we have 500,000 or 100,000 users or something like that. So with the user base that we do have, the thousands that we do have, which is just, we have like a little over 3,000 accounts, right, that we've grown organically. That's like accounts that are not considering the ones we're doing with vendors, but they're the ones that we get a lot of feedback from, because they're the ones that are just they're going in. And they're not getting this like as an extra from a vendor, right? They're doing they're using this as like their main thing. And the ones that are working with vendors usually already have their own CRM and everything, and they're just using this as a tool to fulfill their MDF, that they're doing with vendors. So yeah, we take all of it into huge consideration, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they say.
I am too, and Who knows? Maybe I'm off base, but I want to go back into here into the automation section. And I want to say the one that I just built, like you showed me a different way to do it to make it easier for me to say it opened, wasn't clicked, was clicked, all the variations. That way I was able to go through here and make this a more efficient journey. The journey builder is amazing. And if you look, like, I didn't use any of your content. Heck, I even used terrible content. It works for literally whatever you want. But the point is that the journey thing is huge. And I think that for those of you that are considering HoneyCRM, Journeys is going to be where you really start to get the automation for your marketing. So that way, if you want to send out an email to 1,500 prospects from the Chamber of Commerce, and maybe you want to send out a series of emails, and then eventually, if people just never open, click, whatever you want, right? They just go into the not a good fit or not interested or whatever. And then maybe you put them in a different journey where it's more of a marketing plan where they just get drip content, and then you don't actively try to market to them after they get hit hard by the journey. Like that's kind of my process right now, literally off the cuff. Marketing journeys, that's a great way for you to send out evergreen type of content to prospects and vendors, to prospects and current customers. So, you can send out stuff to your clients to say, hey, you should have 2FA. Here's how to make a good password. Here's why I believe passwords shouldn't be changed every X days, or should, or, whatever your framework says that you should do for your security to be set up properly, right? You can go through and you can build all this stuff yourself, or if you want someone to build it for you, Honey's got it, man. I can't wait to see who you guys end up partnering with, just because I think it's going to be super cool when you start getting some like crazy content in there. Like, for example, maybe you link up with like Tim Golden from the Compliancy Guys, and you have him start writing you stuff, maybe where he wants to go over like the CIS top 18 controls type thing. Maybe there's a way for us to turn that information into actual usable nuggets for the end user, for the business owner, decision maker to take and finally grasp why security is important and how it works and why they should do it, and et cetera, et cetera. And I could see a bunch of vendors that need to get linked up with you, link up with Datto and start doing email campaigns and journeys and whatnot for BDRs and backups and Datto Workspace, Datto Workplace, the Dropbox killer that they have. They've got so many things like the networking hardware, like
absolutely.
They could be providing a bunch of content like specifically for Datto hardware and Datto services that make it super easy for MSPs to just customize the branding and maybe change I don't know if they have a price or a picture or whatever that they need to change, but like minimal changes and it can be done.
Yeah. And I think first episode, I had told you we have something in the works, some partnerships in the works. And I wasn't able to tell you about them quite yet because they were not actually signed and finalized.
Are things signed?
So those are finalized now, and I'll tell you about them. And you're about to hear something that hasn't actually been released yet. We're going to do some press releases on this pretty soon. We're waiting just a little bit, because there's some other things in the works as far as our brand goes. We actually partnered with Ingram Micro, and they're also at the same time through them, we're partnering, and they already have partnered with about, I think it's 17 or 18 vendors. And some of those vendors, just to kind of just name some of the bigger ones, is Apple. We got Lenovo in there. We got Citrix, Cisco. We got a lot of vendors. That's just to name a few of them. And right now, there's already marketing content within Honey that their partners are using, but they're only right now the partners that are being sponsored, that have like MDF, And in the future, though, we're actually going to be, if you're a partner of Ingram and then of any of these vendors, then you'll be able to automatically log into Honey, and, you'll have to somehow verify your partnership. And then you'll be able to pick the vendors that you resell, through Ingram, and you'll be able to get all of their content inside of Honey. And as well as that, you'll also be able to register deals in there. So instead of having to go through different portals to register deals for each vendor, you'll just be able to do it in Honey for all of your vendors that you're selling for. And that's sorry, just flying in my face. And that's one of the things we have. Another partnership that we have is also with Marketopia. Another partnership that we've signed the partnership and everything. Again, this hasn't been released yet. And if I get in trouble for telling you this, so be it, whatever. I know it's not going to get out to 100,000 people. Maybe it will, I don't know. But I'm going to imagine just going to get to the few thousand people that watch your podcast. And then I don't see any harm in letting you know about this right now. Because like I said, it's already been sealed and finalized. We're just, working at the very beginning of the relationships right now, just with Ingram, it's already actually over a year that we've had this, but the first year was just a pilot program. And they were seeing is this going to be effective? And it turns out that it went really well. Our partners got a bunch of leads. It went great. So now it's a permanent thing. We're working with them, and I'm really excited for all the content, especially with all these partnerships. But I think with vendors, being able to have one place for all this, and being able to automate the branding of your content is going to be really big. So just want to let you know about that.
That honestly is awesome. So when we'll be able to start doing anything with content from the vendors with Ingram?
I wish I could give you a solid timeline, and I'm hesitant to give you even kind of a guesstimate against my best judgment.
Is a lot of it based on development still? Getting the software to do the thing?
Not necessarily. A lot of it is there's with such a giant company like Ingram, and then the other vendors too, that you have to go through legal departments and all that stuff. And that takes probably 80% of the time, most of the time to get everything going. So that's why I'm hesitant, because for example, with Fortinet, we were doing a program with them, and Fortinet and IBM, actually, I think we remember there's so many different things. Every time we made a change to the content, because they also partner with our creative team to create content for their partners, as well as we partner with their creative team, right? So we just work as a collaborative team. But every time we changed something, it had to go up the ladder and go through their legal department and everything. And it was just this whole ordeal. And I don't really know how long it's going to take, but all I know is that if I give you a timeline right now, it might not be accurate. I don't want to set wrong expectations, right? Against my best judgment, I'll give you a guesstimate and say that it's probably going to be sometime in Q4. I know that's still broad, but maybe that'll, it's not something that we plan on doing in the end of 2022 or something. I don't want you to think it's that far out. Yeah.
Because honestly, I was getting excited over something that I thought might be in Q2.
Yeah, and it could leak over into I think Q1, and it could even go there, but I don't think so. It just dealing with the legal departments and everything is a whole different ordeal. And again, this is just they don't want you to somehow misrepresent their brand or something. And even if you accidentally use a logo that may have been a little an older version of their logo that they had or something that's that's not. Obviously, that's something easy to avoid, right? But just to let you know, that's a huge deal for them, right? So just to kind of give you an idea of how many layers there is to go through with their department, that it could even be just like that. Because most people probably wouldn't care if you saw an old version of a logo, right? But they care about that stuff a lot. And I see why. They're a huge brand. They have the reputation uphold and everything. I get it. It's just that that's the only downside to it is that it just causes there to be more of a timeline for that,
Sure. Now, yeah. I'm unclear. So you said Marketopia is another partnership that you signed?
Right. So as far as Marketopia goes, we're partnered with, as you already know, Pronto. That's one that we've already been working with for months now. Marketopia is another one that we partnered with. With Marketopia and Pronto, we were always really close to them even in our Try Digital days. And people always kind of thought we were just head-to-head competitors, and probably even hated each other or something. But that wasn't the case. We would even send each other, we all knew each other's strengths. So we would send each other referrals. They would, they would send us referrals. We would send them referrals. And now we get to work together even more closely because they do work with MSPs, obviously, of all sizes. They also do work with vendors, I think, to my understanding, it's like on a consulting level and even sometimes on like a design level, they work with vendors. There's so many vendors out there even vendors that we don't work with currently, because we just got a handful of them, right? And whenever it comes to the big picture. But yeah, it's something that we're working on together, not only for our MSP clients, but the vendors that we're working with too. And that's also going to be another thing, is that they're going to put also their content inside of Honey, so that you could just kind of upgrade to like a package to where you're just like, hey, I see I'm in Honey now. I love all the content Honey has. Oh, but look, now, I need more content, or I want like call services or something. Like Marketopia, for example, will do like call downs for you and set appointments, and they'll take your leads and turn them into appointments and hand them off to you. So maybe you want that layer or two, so you could just add something else on like that. We're just trying to kind of give you the whole ecosystem for marketing and sales. And eventually it's going to keep growing. We're going to keep partnering with more companies, because at the end of the day, you should work together with some people that you might even consider competitors. We found that it works out better that way, rather than trying to be nasty towards each other or not like just be collaborative. It works out better the other way.
That's so cool, man. Andrew, I really appreciate you coming on here and doing this with me again. We're going to get together in a month. And in a month, I will have sent out at least 2 more emails, just individual emails. And my goal is to have a journey, at least one, actually running. And then I want us to kind of review that. And then I'm probably going to have another feature that I want to kind of dive into and figure out how it works.
Yeah, let's jump into like the collateral builder or something next time. And and another good one to jump into, I think, would be the reports. We haven't really jumped into that too much yet. So I think that's another good one to touch on.
I'll be excited to jump into the reports maybe in another couple of months, just because I want to make sure I've got data in there for us to look at, But yeah, I like the idea of hopping into one of the builders. When do you think that some of these coming soon features are going to get released? Are we at a point where I can start?
Sorry, I was going to say, this is another thing that's very dependent on how quickly we solidify these partnerships, because these partnerships have a lot of influence on what is prioritized, And I'm sorry, you were saying?
No, I was just going to say, I'm excited to have like a landing page builder, because I suspect that landing page builder would have a form on it where I don't have to worry about building a form on my website. I'm kind of excited about the proposal builder. The SMS and calling seems neat, but the 2 builders that you've got coming soon, those are really exciting to me.
Yeah, for sure. The proposal builder is one of, I think, the very first things we want to do. But again, this is just our priorities could shift as far as all these things go in the order that they get released, because of our partnerships. A lot of the stuff is hinging on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I might recommend, if we're still like 3+ months out on any of these asterisks, that they maybe just fall off the pricing page, only because somebody might sign up for this thinking that maybe the landing page builder is going to be out in 60 days. So that would be my only other recommendation is, soon. Everyone has their own definition of soon.
Fair enough.
So, all right, my friend, thank you so much for doing this, and I will catch you in a month.
Yeah. Great talking to you as always, man. Thanks for having me on. And let me know if you need anything in between, or reach out to the support team if you need anything as well.
Oh, absolutely. I will.
All right, brother. Have a good one.
You too. Take care, everybody.